This is a Sandy Boy Productions podcast.
Welcome to the Urban Pharmacy Podcast, where we help women remove the overwhelm of living their most holistic life. This is the place to find evidence-based nutrition tactics, healthy lifestyle and wellness tips, abundance mindset, and easily implementable low-tox living strategies so you can rise up to your full potential and protect your family's health. I'm your host, Stacey Heine, certified holistic nutritionist and better living advocate. Now, let's get empowered with some simple swaps that make a big impact for optimal wellness.
Welcome to episode 91 of the Urban Pharmacy Podcast. We have Rebecca from Perfect Foods today, and Perfect Foods is a world's premier wheatgrass and microgreen growers company. It's located in Goshen, New York, and they have been supplying the highest quality wheatgrass and microgreens for 40 years now. Since COVID, they have been on a mission to lead the raw vegan cleanses in their area and to help educate the masses on how to use incredible superfoods like microgreens and sprouts to help support people's immune systems and improve their overall health. You know anything about me, you know that I am a big fan of microgreens. We sell them at the farmer's market. And sprouts. I gift a lot of friends, family, and clients with sprouting jars and sprouting seeds so that they can get on their sprouting and microgreen game. You're going to love this episode. That's all I have to say. If you want to get inspired about incorporating microgreens into your diet, then listen in on this episode with Rebecca. Perfect Foods, you're going to learn more about in this episode, but they offer raw vegan reset cleanses, fresh and frozen wheatgrass, sprouting kits, and juicers. So you'll want to make sure you follow them at Perfect Foods Inc. on Instagram and find them at www.800wheatgrass.com. And before we get this episode rolling, I want to make sure that you know that Beauty Counter is having the biggest sale of the year. It ends on the 4th of January 2023. Things may be sold out by the time that you hear this, but it's still worth checking mybetterbeauty.com, which is my website, and you can get up to 65% off some of the best selling products, including holiday 2022 items. So run, do not walk, and get yourself switched over to Clean Beauty today. All right, here is Rebecca. Rebecca Matzel of Perfect Foods. Hello, my friend. Welcome to the Urban Pharmacy Podcast.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
So where did I find you? Was it Chef 8? Was it in the bundle? It was in the bundle. We were in the bundle together. So Rebecca is a fellow plant lover and plant peddler, if you will. Oh my gosh. And you really are though. So we are going to dive into that. My friend, tell me a little bit about you.
Okay. So I guess my story starts from my beginnings, which is my parents, as they all do, but mine particularly so, because I hate that I always have to start my story with my parents, but it's just the truth. And I'm just going to make it.
Hey, your story matters. It's all good.
Yeah, my story matters, but my parents' story is really, really interesting. So I'll start with that really quick.
Okay.
So my parents, Harley and Elise, they started Perfect Foods, which is our business. We grow organic wheatgrass and microgreens indoors in New York. And they started that business 40 years ago in 1982. So this is our 40-year anniversary. And they were way ahead of their time. I mean, nobody was doing it, definitely not on the East Coast. They had a friend, my dad had a friend that was a hippie in California that was juicing wheatgrass at one of the juice bars he was working at. And people were lining up at the door every morning on Venice Beach, saying how it was helping them with energy levels and how there was nothing else like it. And he came back to New York and he told my dad about it. And they were like, well, if it's in California and it's huge, then it's not in New York, then someone's got to do it, and let's do it. So they went into the West Village of Manhattan and said, because they figured that's the coolest spot, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they went to the West Village and they looked around. They just got onto a train station, looked around, and saw some lady with a lemonade organic stand and was like, hey, you know anything about wheatgrass? And she was like, oh, wheatgrass. Yeah, I love wheatgrass. Where you have it? And they're like, well, we're trying to sell it. And they're like, do you have any health food stores that you know of around here? She pointed them to the first 3 health food stores that are around the corner. They went in, they said, are you interested in getting wheatgrass? And all 3 of the stores that they went into said, absolutely, we want to buy it right now. Where have you been? So it was 3 for 3 on their first experience at all talking about it or thinking about it at all. So in their minds, they were like, okay, we're in business. This is going to be, we're rich. That's it. So that's the story. And then from there, they had to figure out how to grow it and what it was. They knew nothing about it.
Oh my gosh.
So that's the story. And as the story goes, it really was an uphill battle from there. There was those 3 stores said yes right away. And then there was 30 other health food stores in New York at the time, but all of them said no. So that was the inspiration that got them to get excited about it and do it. But if that hadn't happened, they never would have. And I mention that because we do really believe that the story of Perfect Foods is kind of a miraculous one, because there was no reason for it to have happened. It was just, there were so many challenges and so many obstacles, and it was so way ahead before its time that it just was amazing that those first 3 stores said yes, because it was an uphill battle moving forward and there was just nonstop obstacles. So that's how it started, and how my dad and my mom started. They were growing it in Brooklyn in the basement of a kosher butcher shop, wheatgrass and microgreens. They were the first urban farmers on the East Coast, if not the first urban farmers in the country. And they just, as my dad says, he had no idea what he was doing. He started growing wheatgrass in the backyard during the summer. And then when it started getting cold, he was like, it's too cold. We need to go inside.
What was he growing? What was he growing wheatgrass for? For his health?
No. So that's the thing. They were growing it just from a business perspective. Okay. They didn't know much about it from the health perspective. This is really an entrepreneurial story. Mm-hmm. It didn't become a health story until they heard all of the stories from their customers of how amazing it was. And then they were like, oh, what is this stuff? And then they learned about it. Because they heard all the customers, they were using it for cancer. People would run over to them in their vans with $100 bills and be like, send this to my house. I need it immediately. Where have you been? So they realized that there was a huge value to this, and they would hear from their customers that they couldn't go a week without it. Their customers would come drive from far away places to get it. And so then they realized that there was a real value to it. And it was at that point that they were like, okay, let's really learn what this is and experience it for ourselves.
Wow. So, okay, your parents' story, is that all? I mean, tell me more.
Yeah. Okay. So now I'm ready to talk about how I came into the picture. Obviously, they then moved from Brooklyn to Goshen, New York, which is a little bit upstate in the Black Dirt region. It's a more rural farming area. Mm-hmm. And we continued to bring vans into New York, Long Island, Connecticut, New Jersey, where we would deliver. And they were delivering to health food stores and also directly to consumers. So at that point, they had 4 kids. They had my brother, the older sister, myself, and my little sister. And as we were growing up, they would go to these raw vegan institutes, because what wheatgrass and microgreens are the 2 main components of the raw vegan Hippocrates diet or lifestyle taught by Ann Wigmore. So Ann Wigmore is a woman that grew up in Lithuania, and she healed herself from gangrene and cancer from wheatgrass. And then she went traveling in India and in Europe to hospitals, healing people with raw foods and with wheatgrass. Mm-hmm. And then she came over to Boston, to the US, and created an institute called the Hippocrates Institute, and she educated and helped people to heal their bodies with raw living foods. And she was basically the mother of wheatgrass, the primary educator of wheatgrass as a miraculous healing food and superfood. So my dad learned a lot from her, and also from Victorious Kulvinskas, who wrote the book Survival in the 21st Century. I'm giving you a lot of information, but write it down.
Yeah.
So I bring all of that up just to give you a background of what wheatgrass is and why they landed at these raw vegan institutes, because these institutes is what was primarily educating the community on wheatgrass, which was the product they were selling. So they were like, well, let's learn about this product and really become familiar with it so that we can educate it about it too. And also so that we can know what our customers are talking about and really understand it. So it was really an interesting entrepreneurial way, because usually you're the one educating from first and foremost, but no, in this case, the customers were educating them.
Wow.
So anyway, they would go to these institutes, and then they would bring us. Once they had a family, they brought the kids, and we would go, like, instead of going to Disneyland, they would bring us to these raw vegan institutes, like, for vacation.
Unbelievable. This is like something that I would do, just by the way. Yeah. Like
Right.
Cohen's coming to his first nutrition conference with the National Health Alliance this year. And he's not 5. He's almost 5.
Right. Yeah, no, there's pictures of us, and I have them in books that we have and on our website, of us, like, really little, like me, like 6, 8, just like serving sprouts to people.
I love it.
And we used to scooter around in these institutes, and we would have fun. We would, like, walkie-talkie, and, like, we'd be the only kids around, so we'd be, like, making trouble.
God, so fun.
Yeah. So that was our life. And we always were, like, kind of like the weird, healthy family. My mom would pack us celery sticks and carrots and things like that for lunch instead of Lunchables, and maybe kids made fun of us. But now I'm very grateful for being so ahead of the curve, because now it's the cool thing. Then it was weird, but now it's totally the cool thing. So now, I guess, talking about my story, it's important to share their story, because they're the real entrepreneurs. They're the real visionaries. But now my brother and I are taking over the business, and we're buying the business, and we're taking it to the next level and continuing on, not only in Wigmore's vision and work, but my parents' vision and work. And basically what I did last year was, when COVID hit, we had to make a lot of changes, because we were primarily selling to health food stores and juice bars, and a lot of them weren't able to stay in business, or they closed their doors, or just nobody was coming in. So we lost a big percentage of our sales from our wholesale business. So we had to turn a little bit and go to retail. And that was a good change, because now we're going directly to consumers and giving them really fresh products directly from our farm to their house. And one step further, I realized that people needed education on it, and they were having trouble, like, knowing what to do with it. And also, nobody was able to go to these retreat centers during COVID. So I was like, let me bring it to them and teach them how to do it at home and actually implement it at home. So that's when, back to your original question, where I kind of come in, is I created this raw vegan reset cleanse, which is something that I'm really proud of, that I created about a year ago. Which is, I send you a big box of microgreens and wheatgrass and sauerkraut and raw vegan crackers and snacks and everything that you need that's hard to find. I ship to you countrywide, and I give you a meal plan and a shopping list and a video course, and we coach you. And I have a whole team of coaches now, and we coach you to do a raw vegan cleanse at home, if not for a week, then a month, and just kind of make a transformation and learn how to actually implement it successfully into your life. So that's the future that I've been pushing for, and that's where I've come in. That's the whole. Yeah.
This is incredible. Okay, so this is just so good. Like, talk about cellular healing. Talk about what a cool movement that your parents started. Oh my God, like, what a blessing. Seriously, truly. I'm sure there's been ridiculous amounts of obstacles, because we are small business owners ourselves. We've tried to sell food. Like we sell microgreens at the farmer's market. Whatever you do in an entrepreneurial world, there's always going to be a lot of obstacles, but at the end of the day, the work that we do, stepping into this big impact, and, if you're really truly following your values and your vision, like your parents did, right? Like no matter what obstacle we have, we always end up on the other side, like in a positive way, because of the impact to the people that we're making, the impact to the businesses that we're helping to support, and grow themselves. It's just like such a beautiful thing. And like, so, oh my God. So now, they started this just, money wise, and really it's moved into this whole thing. And now like their offspring, is like helping heal people across, like you're expanding your reach. It's not just like micro reach anymore. It's like you're looking at this macro vision and idea, which is so needed. Let's go back a little bit, Rebecca, can we talk a little bit about the awesome stuff that wheatgrass can do? Because I remember seeing wheatgrass probably 18 years ago at a natural food store. And I was like, what is that? And they had these wheatgrass juice shots, and I was way ahead of my time. That's for sure. In terms of healthy living, when all of the rest of my friends were still like getting way trashed and, piling pizzas down their throat. I'm like, let's get into the wheatgrass and try the vegan chicken nugget. I woke up a little bit earlier than a lot of people. And obviously you grew up this way. So you have been brought up this way. And now you've learned the benefits of wheatgrass and you've learned the benefits of microgreens. Can we touch a little bit on that?
Sure. Yeah. So I would say that wheatgrass is up there with one of the most powerful foods on earth, being that it's the 10-day-old. You can see here, this is the wheatgrass. It's the 10-day-old stage of wheat. So the same seeds that would grow to become wheat at its 10-day-old stage that looks like grass, this beautiful dark green grass. And at this stage, it's at its most nutritious stage, because when it's same as microgreens, when it's at this baby stage, it has the concentrated nutrient density that it would need in order to grow into its adulthood. So it's all concentrated in this little tiny leaf. And it's also sprouted and alive. So it's in this like infancy stage where it has all of the enzymes needed to then grow, which helps your body to digest it and gives your body more energy. Also, it's high in chlorophyll, as you can see how green it is, and chlorophyll is just generally good. There's lots of studies on chlorophyll isolated, but in conjunction with a bioavailable food, it's even more beneficial for you. And chlorophyll is good for cleansing the blood, helping to bring oxygen to the blood, and overall alkalizing the body to prevent from disease, because our bodies need to be in more of an alkaline pH versus an acidic one. A lot of the foods that we eat that are animal-based, or toxins that are in different body washes and cosmetic things that we use, can cause our body to be more acidic. So it's really important to be eating lots of alkaline foods, and that's berries and that's greens. And as far as greens go, wheatgrass and microgreens are definitely like one of the most nutrient dense and alkalizing foods. So that's why I so strongly believe in it, because when it comes to narrowing nature's medicine down, I really believe that this is amongst the most powerful things that you can have in your body. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I see that, first of all, having 1 ounce of wheatgrass juice is equivalent to having about 2 pounds of green vegetables. So it's this very concentrated nutrient density. One of the main things that it does is it gives you energy. So when you have it in the morning on an empty stomach, you want to have about 1 ounce in the morning, 1 ounce or 2 on an empty stomach, and it goes straight into your bloodstream because everything's in its simplest form. So the amino acids, the building blocks of protein are already simplified, the glucose, everything is simple. And so it's easily digested and absorbed into your bloodstream and concentrated. So you can feel it immediately. Like when you drink wheatgrass, you know you just drank something. It's not like some type of powdered thing that maybe, it's not like a greens powder, like, oh, they say it's good for me. Like, you know that you just had something really good. It's immediate and you can feel the benefits. From my experience, when I have powdered superfoods, which I don't often because I have this at my disposal, but if I ever do, I feel nothing. I don't know about you, but I feel nothing. So when it comes to eating fresh things, I think we've become so accustomed to the powders because they're pushed and marketed on us so much, and like supplements and stuff, they're just marketed on us so much because they're so easy to sell. And fresh wheatgrass and microgreens are not easy to sell because they have to be shipped or they have to be local. But as far as how it impacts your body, it's like apples and oranges. You can't compare. So when you're looking to increase your energy levels and give your body nutrients to heal, which is ultimately why we use these supplements and powders, right? Because we feel like we're lacking in nutrients, then fresh is best. And there's nothing more fresh than freshly cut wheatgrass juice or freshly juiced wheatgrass that was literally just living 2 minutes ago. That's one of the main reasons that wheatgrass and microgreens are so amazing, is because they're newly born, like they just were made and they're fresh and they're alive. And they have all of the enzymes that are active that help your body to grow and to digest foods, to digest things easily, which is important because we use a large amount of our energy digesting things. So if you can ingest things that are really easily absorbable and easily digestible, that takes all the energy that you would be using to digest difficult things like meats and dairies to then heal your body. It gives your body all that extra energy to heal itself. So that's the main thing, is it just gives your body the nutrients it needs to heal itself, as we are self-healing mechanisms. It's not a miracle worker. It's just supplying your body with what it actually is supposed to or intended to have. That's the bottom line with wheatgrass and microgreens. And as far as what specifically customers tell me that they use it for, that's important to note, because that might something might ring a bell for you and be like, oh, it helps with that. So I just want to give a little bit of a list, and beware with major disclaimers of, I am not a doctor and this should not be used like medicinally in replacement of medicine. But it's important to know that I've heard these stories, and anecdotal stories have value. Not to mention that there are studies on it, and we can get into that in a little bit, but just based on things that I've heard from customers over 40 years, Lyme disease, autoimmune disease, things like this. Many customers have told me it's the only thing that helps. And Lyme disease is a curse word.
Yeah, personally, I'm very fearful of moving out to our farm, and because of that, I'm just like, there's ticks. Ticks, and I'm so fearful because I've seen so many friends' health deteriorate from Lyme.
Yeah, it's absolutely frightening. Yeah. And that's why I mentioned that as first, because it's something that I've heard a lot of customers tell me that it was the only thing that helped them. So if you're having trouble with it, the therapeutic amount is 2 ounces in the morning and 2 ounces in the afternoon on an empty stomach. And then again, even if you can, in the evening. Having it multiple times a day is absolutely key. And from our customers, we learned that from our customers. And there's stories about that in like my dad's book and everything, about how he learned all of these little things that we say is from experience of our customers. And we learned that like we had a customer who had arthritis and she would have pain. And when she drank the wheatgrass, the pain subsided. And then it would come back later in the day. She drank the wheatgrass, the pain would subside. So she had to have it 3 times a day in order to maintain the pain. And that's when we realized that that's how quickly it gets absorbed and used. And then blood pressure, blood sugar, things like that. We've seen people drink it regularly for like a few weeks and see their levels go down with wheatgrass isolated, which is interesting. Other things.
Do people put wheatgrass in their smoothies, Rebecca?
No. People do, but that's a mistake. So you want to make sure that you're drinking wheatgrass on its own, freshly juiced in a masticating juicer. Yeah. That is really key, and one of the main obstacles that stops people from drinking wheatgrass, and why I refer them, if they don't want to invest in a juicer, to microgreens. Because microgreens you can put in your smoothie, no problem. Wheatgrass, if you put in your smoothie like with a banana or with peanut butter or something, you'll feel nauseous and it will just be a bad experience. So do not mix it with other things. There are some people who do and are fine with it, but I caution majorly against it. The only reason why I would say to mix it with something is if you know that you need it and you want it, but you really have trouble with the flavor, which, by the way, the flavor is much sweeter than you would expect. So don't let that be a deterrent for you, but it is strong. So if you really have trouble with it, this is what I would say to try it with. You can, first and foremost, just drink water after it. Second, take the shot and lick some cinnamon. That's a trick that we learned from the Institute, so that I like a lot. And it's like the most simple and best trick. It just like completely cuts the flavor and you can move on with your life. And then if that's not even enough and you want to have fun with it, you can like take a bite of orange or take a bite of apple, or put some apple juice, like freshly juiced apple, into the shot, like half wheatgrass, half apple, or half wheatgrass, half pineapple. That is like, you don't even know you're drinking wheatgrass at that point. Pineapple and greens, any pineapple with any greens cuts the flavor completely. So that's a really good tip. But it's important for me to note that therapeutically on its own is best. If you absolutely need it and you can't do it like that, do the cinnamon thing, or do it with a little bit of apple, take a bite of something, or this is controversial, or put it up the bum, do a implant. So that's the thing. I don't know. I didn't know that I was going to bring that up in this podcast, but here it is.
Hey, we're talking about, like healing modalities, and, like the listeners might be like, okay, no, or they might be like, okay, that actually, resonates with me. Like, it depends on which body of wellness you're following. And, there's validity, like you said, and even in anecdotes. And, so yeah, it's all fair game, girlfriend.
So just to touch on that really quickly, the reason why I bring that up is because at the institutes, they actually say, and Ann Wigmore herself actually says, the best way to heal from wheatgrass is by doing implants. So that is, and just, I know this is going to turn some people off. And if you're one of those people, just don't even listen to me and just stick to drinking it. That's fine. But I want to mention it because when you're in a serious situation, like if you have Lyme, if you have cancer, and you're trying to go the alternative route, you need to do serious measures in order to go all hands in. So this is a tool that people use and it's effective. So why not give you all the information I have?
Yeah.
So you would do an enema, which is just with water, or a colonic, which is just with water, and that's clearing out your colon. Because when you're detoxing, or when your body is detoxing, it's not like the foods themselves are detoxing, but they provide your body with what it needs in order to detox. Mm-hmm. So when you're in that detoxing state, you want to make sure that you're getting everything out. You might be doing all the detoxing, but it's not getting out. It might be still stuck in your colon. So that's why it's really important when you're doing this kinds of cleansing diets that you get a colonic, or you do an enema, or you just make sure that your bowels are regular. And if for whatever reason they're not, getting a colonic is very recommended from colon hydrotherapists and from these these institutes that have been teaching for 80 years on this stuff. So you can get a colonic, which is just going to a professional, and they clear out your colon. They, whatever, all the stuff comes out, and it feels amazing, by the way. Like, energetically, not only physically does it feel amazing because you got rid of like weight and junk that's been sitting there, but energetically it feels amazing. Like you feel a burst of energy, you feel lighter, you feel good. And I just feel really good when I get that. And then to then replenish it, because now you just got rid of everything in your colon, you might want to replenish it with extra electrolytes and vitamins and minerals. And that's where the wheatgrass implant comes in. It goes right into the colon lining and goes right into your bloodstream. So that's the philosophy behind it.
Wow. I've never heard of an implant. I'm going to have to go to Dr. Google and look that up later on.
Yeah, I have all kinds of videos on it. I even have a video on my Instagram of my sister doing one. It's like very PG, like you can't really see much, but it's like very hilarious. Oh, and so if you're looking for something entertaining, you can look on my Instagram.
Love it. Gosh, I dream of having I wish that Cohen, our son, had siblings that he could be living this life with, but I digress. He's going to be an only child, but it's just amazing to know that there are kids that are being exposed to information like this, and which is why I'm going to the National Health Institute so that I can meet families, and I'm going to Fruitstock Wood, or whatever it's called.
The fruit festival?
Yes.
Oh, I'll be there. I'll see you there.
Me and my son are coming. I'm so excited, Rebecca. I can't wait to meet other families that are living this way. We're not 100% raw, but we are totally whole food, plant-based. I'm SOS free as much as possible, unless I'm eating restaurant sushi. I know there's salt and a little sugar in there, but anyways, whatever. I just feel my best.
The only time I have salt is when I eat restaurant sushi.
that it literally. Should we quote that one for the episode? That's literally
the modern girl. That's the modern girl in you.
It is. But like, here's the deal. We need to find our people. And I feel like you're my people. And I'm just like, I feel so comfortable talking to you right now because this is just so epic. Hey, before we get too far into this episode, I want to invite you to my upcoming cooking class. It's called Food for Life, Cancer Prevention and Healthy Body Weight. And you might not know, but an increased body weight, one that is over what we're looking for in terms of a BMI and your ideal body weight, can actually be linked to increased risk of cancer. And I think we could say that we're all looking for our ideal body weight and we're all looking for a way to prevent cancer, right? So I'm here to help you do that, just that. So we're going to basically go through about an hour long of education and cooking demo, and I'm going to help you understand how to find a healthy body weight and prevent cancer at the same time by putting more plants on your plate. There will be education, a cooking demo, and recipes provided for you. So just click down in the show notes to get registered for my upcoming Food for Life class with the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. You're gonna love it. I'll see you there. All right, let's talk. We got to back up and like let people understand. Let's talk about the ways that people can consume aside rectally and juicing. Girl, it's okay. We're talking about it. Here we are. This is holistic healing. How do people consume it? Do they just macerate it in their mouth to juice it sometimes? Like, or, Yes,
you can do that. You can chew it. You can just pick it up like this, take some out. Here, I'll show you.
Yeah.
This is a demonstration. So I'm just taking it out of the tray. You fold it a couple times like this so that you have something to chew. And then in the back.
That's the only thing that I've really done because I do have a Green Star. I have a macerating juicer, but like I am still fixed for some reason on this idea that I need to get a special wheatgrass machine.
Well, I will say we have a wheatgrass juicer that's only $120.
Oh, yay.
And it's specifically, it's our design and manufactured one. It's called the Dr. Squeeze Green Queen. And if you already have a juicer, like a Breville or a centrifugal one, then this is definitely what you should supplement your juicer equipment with, is our Green Queen. It's $120 on our website and easy, like 800wheatgrass.com, by the way, if anyone's like, oh, let me go grab that, 800wheatgrass.com. And also, if you don't have a juicer yet, any juicer whatsoever, then I would still recommend to get a masticating one that can juice both fruits and vegetables and wheatgrass and microgreens, because like Breville's and these centrifugal ones, even the Nama Well, which I know everyone loves, doesn't juice wheatgrass well. So the Try Best is what we recommend, and that's
what I have.
Yeah,
Try Best. It's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so wheatgrass, and then we've got microgreens, not quite sprouts. They're grown. Right. They're like the toddler.
Right.
So much more concentrated in nutrients than their counterpart, their adult counterpart, right?
And that number is always like random, but it's 3 to 100 times the amount of nutrients as the adult plants.
Mm-hmm.
And that number just comes from the amount of nutrients. Like, for example, in broccoli, there's about 40 times the amount of a specific compound called sulforaphane, which is this antioxidant that is helpful for cancer fighting. So there's 40 times more sulforaphane in the broccoli sprout or microgreen than there is in actual adult broccoli, which is the reason why microgreens and sprouting really became so popular, because they found that active ingredient. They found how extremely concentrated it was, and they realized, wow, in this baby form, these foods are really concentrated in nutrients. And so much so that they wanted to patent broccoli sprouts because they found it to be so significantly helpful for cancer patients who were not only fighting cancer or preventing cancer, but also healing from chemotherapy symptoms. Mm-hmm. So that's the origination of the science behind sprouts and microgreens. And just a little clarification of sprouts versus microgreens. Sprouts are the 3-day-old or 5-day-old baby of the plant. You soak the seeds overnight and you drain them and rinse them a couple times a day. And that's it. You got yourself a sprout. Once a little tail comes out, it's ready to eat and it's amazing. And that's the sprout. Then you got the microgreen where you take that sprout and you put it into the soil and then you put it under the light and that grows for another, 5, 6, 7 days. To be about 10 to 14 days old. So it's like the toddler, like you said, or teenager. And that, as far as the nutrient density, I believe is a little bit more, even better than the sprout because it has all of the minerals from the soil and it has all of the chlorophyll from the light that it's being under. But both are great. And whatever is easier for you to get and to consume is ideal.
Yeah.
And just real quick on sprouting and microgreens, it's like all the rage right now. Thank God, finally, the world is waking up to start sprouting at home and growing microgreens at home. So if that is interesting to you to start growing your own food and have, even if you don't have a green thumb, but you want to like just dip your toe into the concept of growing your own food and play around with the concept of sprouting because you've heard all of the benefits and you're like, yes, I want to increase my energy. Yes, I want to have tons of protein in a plant-based way. But it's hard to find, whatever. We have sprouting kits that come with lentil and broccoli and radish and mung bean seeds, which are like the easiest to sprout. And we ship that directly to you. It's inexpensive, maybe like $50 or something for a little kit that's like for months that you'll have seeds. So definitely have seeds in your cabinet. I can't stress that enough because it's so primitive and forward thinking at the same time. Like for sure, we should have a relationship with seeds. We should always have seeds in our cabinet, just in case we don't have access to food, or in case we're on the run, in case we're hiking and we need food. Bring some lentil seeds with you, and you have food for like abundance. It grows the volume 3 times. So whatever you have, you can grow the volume 3 times of the food. So sprouting is something that everyone should get into, and anyone can nail it on the first try with lentil and mung bean seeds. First try, you'll be able to get it with our instructions and our videos. It's so easy. Like you can't mess it up. Even if you think for sure you're going to mess it up, you can't.
Lentils are so easy.
Microgreens are more challenging. So I would say if you haven't sprouted yet, just start with sprouting. But if you want to get into microgreens, we have a microgreen growing kit. That's like an advanced one, but get a package from us of already pre-grown microgreens first, because we do ship it like countrywide. This way you can see what the gold standard is, see what it's like, start loving it, and then start growing it yourself so that you can, because otherwise it takes 10 days anyway to grow it. And your first couple of tries are going to mess up. So get a shipment of good stuff, get it in abundance so that you know what you're doing. And then you enjoy it, you know how to incorporate it into your life, you know how to put it into smoothies and into salads, and you start like falling in love with it. And then you'll have the inspiration to get the actual product by growing it.
Yes. Love it. I've been known to send sprouting lids and ball jars and seeds to my clients because that's how powerful I believe this is. Let's talk about sprouting a little bit, because Rebecca, I do know some people who have tried it. And I know, yes, there are people especially in the raw living food world, like that are helping to educate people on doing this. But like, let's talk specifically about broccoli sprouts, because I believe that we all probably have heard a little bit about the power of them. What tips do you have? I mean, we've had Doug Evans on, he's got his own method, and I feel like sometimes people, when they try to sprout, they overthink it. And just like you were saying, it's quite easy, especially with like mung beans and lentils, but like broccoli, it's not always a win. So how do you suggest people sprout broccoli?
Good question. Okay. So those of you can see, those of you who can't, I'll explain what I'm doing. So these are actually not broccoli seeds because I don't have any. I'm not at the plant, I'm at my house. But imagine that we had broccoli seeds. Broccoli seeds are very small. That's the reason why people have trouble with them versus mung bean and lentil seeds, because there's less aeration. The seeds get more entangled with each other, which can cause mold, and it just doesn't flourish the same way. So That being said, I like to use not the ball jar and the lid method, but just a finely hold colander. This is the most simple thing that you could possibly do. I just have a very finely hold colander. So not like the ones for pasta, the ones that are very finely hold. And the holes should be so small that a seed can't go through it. And so the first thing that you do is you take, for broccoli seeds, I usually only take like about 3-4 tablespoons, and you soak them in a bowl. So any bowl, take about 3-4 tablespoons. That's probably even too much. And then you put about 3 times the volume of water. So you're just gonna fill it up, make sure that it's completely submerged in water. Move that around and leave that overnight for 8 to 12 hours. Done. So in 8 to 12 hours, they will absorb some of the water, but not all of it. And then you pour it and drain it. So in the morning, so you soak it and then you drain it. So you would drain it by pouring it into the colander, like so. Just kind of move it around like this. And then you rinse it just to make sure that there's no bacteria in it. Rinse it a little bit like that. Move it around with your fingers. Make sure that whatever it's sitting in to drain doesn't have any water. So we're going to get rid of all of that water there. And then let it sit in a bowl like this to drain until the evening when you rinse it again. So again, just to go over it really quickly, you soak the seeds overnight, drain them in the morning, and then rinse them twice a day for about like 4 or 5 days. And a little tail will come out, and that's it. You have your broccoli sprouts. I really like this method more than the mason jar method, because in the mason jar method, they're just sitting there. You can't move them around. Maybe they're not fully like draining out. In this method, for sure, they're fully draining out. They're in a colander. And they just can breathe more. You can allow them to breathe more. And it's pretty much a no-brainer success every time with this. So those of you who are having trouble with growing broccoli sprouts or any of the smaller seeds, this is the way to do it.
Love it. Love it. So name of the game with broccoli sprouts to help with prevention, potential treatment, and chemotherapy. Focus on those broccoli sprouts. So important. Okay. So, and sulforaphane, which Rebecca was talking about, we can find that in regular broccoli. So eat your broccoli, but make sure that A, you're eating your pre-cooked broccoli with some raw broccoli at the same time, or B, eating your cooked broccoli with a little bit of mustard powder to help unlock that sulforaphane. So, here's the deal. We're on the Urban Pharmacy podcast. We're talking about how plants can heal, and that's just the truth of it. It's just the truth of it. So we're talking, maybe really high level for the journey that you're on at this time in your life as a listener, or maybe we are talking straight to you who is really ready to take that whole food, plant-based living journey to the next level and actually get more in touch with your food. You're starting your own garden essentially on your countertop, which is super fun and awesome. And this just helps you connect to earth and ground yourself more, which is part of holistic living as well. And Rebecca, I feel like you and I could probably talk forever, and I can't wait to meet you. Oh my goodness. It's going to be so awesome. Yeah. But maybe we'll have to have you back for a second episode and we can talk.
Well, I was thinking that you should have my dad or my mom on, because they're a hoot and they're interesting as well. That would be a cool.
I would probably geek out with them. That would be awesome. Cool.
Totally. And can I give a couple of plugs?
Yes. Oh yeah, for sure. Let's do that. And then I'll ask you my final question.
Okay. So just a couple plugs for those of you who are interested. If this interests you at all, if sprouting, the most basic thing is adding some sprouts in. You can get that from the supermarket. There's broccoli sprouts and alfalfa sprouts, and you can just add that into your diet. That would be the most basic way to start implementing this. And the reason why the whole point of all of this conversation is to learn how to add in good things into your diet. So if you're trying to improve your health because you have something going on, like digestive issues, inflammation, gut health, things like this, then you want to empower your body with really high antioxidant foods. And that's what this is. So that would be the reason for healing. And then just one step further would be to just improve your health and improve your immune system and maintain your health. This is a good resource for that too. So you can go to the supermarket and you can get stuff. but they're not always the best quality and they're hard to find. So if that's the case, grow it yourself. Could not be easier. Don't be afraid. Just go for it. And hey, I'll give you guys a 10% discount for anybody who's watching this. I didn't even think of that, but why not? Discount 10. And what else? You can get shipments. We do shipments countrywide of our full line of fresh products already grown. So if this interests you, you can just get a small shipment of stuff and just learn a little bit about how to start implementing it. And then, of course, we have our cleanse program, which is a full-on transformation where I teach you step by step exactly how to be successful with getting more raw foods into your diet. And then we also, this is my final plug, is the Wheatgrass King book, which we just made. We just put it out. It's in the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle, which just ended yesterday, but you can still get it on its own. And it's my dad's story of how he started the business. So if you want to learn more about it, that's on my website. And if any of this interests you, just book an appointment with me. I have free consultations on my website, 800wheatgrass.com. I'll chat with you for half an hour, get to know you, and just see how I can help.
Oh my God. So good. High vibes, my friend. This is just awesome. Okay. So plants rule, and everybody just take this information, put some more plants on your plate. Try not to buy the processed food. I promise your body's going to start feeling better. We just got to take it day by day. Trust the process. Reach out to Rebecca or if you need any help, we're here. Just message us. Okay. Like, we're here. We want to help you. We want to help you feel better. And, it doesn't have to be all or nothing. Okay. So imperfect action is exactly where the magic is.
Amen.
Right. Amen. So here's my last question that I ask all of my people. What does holistic living mean to you?
Holistic living means to me balance. Absolutely. That's it. 100% balance. It means exactly what you just said. Not all or nothing. It doesn't mean perfection. It doesn't mean that you have to be drinking wheatgrass and sprouts your whole life only. It means you start implementing small things into your life that resonate with you when you feel that little zing and you're like, ooh, that makes sense to me. It means start doing more things like that, following more things like that. And that's it. That's all it means. It just means following that zing of what feels good to you. And one day you're going to wake up and realize that things in your life are starting to feel more well-rounded, starting to feel more holistic, and that you're just feeling more energized and better in your body and balanced in your body. That's what it means.
Love it. Thank you so much, Rebecca. We're going to put all of her information down in the show notes. So just be sure to follow and to connect with Rebecca. She's here to help. And my friend, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me. This was so fun, and I can't wait to meet you.
It's going to be awesome.
I'm over here cheering you on because you just finished another episode of The Urban Pharmacy. For today's show notes, head on over to theurbanpharmacy.com and be sure to join us inside our private Facebook group called The Urban Pharmacy, where we share inspiration, live trainings, and holistic living tips to help you build community and the healthy lifestyle that you've always wanted. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you hit that subscribe button and please consider leaving us a 5-star review. Before we connect again on the next show, follow me on Instagram at The Urban Pharmacy. That's urban with an H and pharmacy with an F. And I can't wait to hear your wellness journey as we get to know each other better. You know, there's truly no better time than now to level up your life, and I am so proud of you for showing up today. Until next time, be well, Health Crusader.